right. Welcome everyone to today's show. Let me get this out of the way. Let me get this out of the way. And thank you all for being here. Let me get off the graphics screen. And yes, today we're going to be talking Ultra versus Extreme. And if you're interested in getting one of these, the question is whether do you spend this much or do you spend this much? Do you need everything that this offers, or do you just need what this offers? So if you have questions, throw them in the comments. This is a live show. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be going through some of the features and see which one makes the most sense for you. We have a bunch of people watching already. And as always, I love to know where people are watching from. So I always ask, where's everyone watching from today? And of course, Frank picked this up too. So kudos to Frank. And we've got Mike Sabatini in LaSalle, Illinois. We have the Green Boater in Vancouver. We have J Films in Atlantic City. And if you're in the YOLO live group, you know he's super active there. Madhava Reddy Tigila in Sweden. And Robert says, hello world, hello to you as well. He's on LinkedIn. Hey, I think that's one of the first non-me comments coming in from LinkedIn I've received. So, hey Robert, thanks for watching on LinkedIn. And yes, this is going out. Oh, you know what? Let me start that too. I often forget the Instagram, because Insta is on a different platform. I'm using the InStream to go to Instagram. So if you are watching on Instagram now, see how to, oh, I get a little button here. There we go. Instagram is now live and I can see comments on Instagram. I am getting comments from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But as always, all the information is over here on YouTube. All the videos, all the how-tos, all the behind the scenes, the studio tours, the producer interviews, all of that is here. So if you are watching on any other platform, do come over here to the StreamTek. It's actually Stream Technology. Go over here to StreamTek, like, subscribe, get involved. I even do updates sometimes. I post posts. Sometimes I post a little behind the scenes when I'm getting ready for things. So this was getting ready for the Duet 8 video that I just did. And that one actually spanned 2 entire shows and then compiled into a 1 hour, 45-minute video. And so if you're interested in the Duet 8 as a hardware switcher that also does a lot of really cool things, you can see the multi-view up there. That took a lot to put together, but you know, so that's a little glimpse behind the scenes here on the StreamTek channel on YouTube. So definitely like and subscribe there. I also write for Streaming Media Magazine. Wait for it to load. There it is. So lots of features in here, including a whole article on a bunch of all-in-one solutions. You know, yes, the YoloBox is in there. The Director Mini is in there. SignTreek is in there. And there's a couple more in there too. So if you're interested on how big this market has gotten, that's a good place to go. If you need to reach out to me for consulting, if you want to, and like a one-on-one, tell me what you're going to do. Let's work through it. Where do you want to go in a year or 2 years? And what would be the best solution for you? You can reach out to me at the streamtek.us, because I'm in the United States, and go to the contact us, and we can put together some consulting. I also manage I had all these loaded. I don't know why they're all reloading now. The B4 on M43 group on Facebook. No, don't jump down there. And this is for putting big ENG lenses, which have a B4 mount, on Micro Four Thirds cameras. And that's actually my GH4 right there, with a honking big lens on the front of it. And then also, we'll just wait for all these to reload. I created a group for AirMix, which is a live switching software app which has been made available for free from Teradek because they've stopped supporting it, so it's sort of orphaned at this point, but this is available to anyone. And the cool thing is, if you've got old iOS hardware, old iPads, old iPhones, old Android phones, and you want something for free just to try out, this is a great free first step, and it runs on old hardware. This was orphaned before COVID, so this is using iPads that have Lightning. So if you have an iPad with USB-C, hey, you can probably do even more. But this is designed to run on older hardware, so perfect. Then say, actually, I've got a special thing today that, let's go back to here. I've got a special thing today, and I've partnered with YoloBox because of this look at these devices. If you haven't already got a YoloBox, and I know a lot of the people who are commenting already do have YoloBoxes, but if you haven't got the Extreme, you haven't got the Ultra, or if you haven't got any of them, maybe you still have a Pro. I still have a Pro. I did shows on the Pro for like 2 years. This was the entire production studio, and if you have a Pro and your battery has gotten a little big and started to swell, check out my video. I did a video on replacing the battery in here, and I have a link to where you can buy the battery. And it's actually quite easy to do because the battery, you just take off the rubber, unscrew everything, pop it off. The battery has a little plug. The hardest part is the battery has adhesive on the inside, and you have to gently pry off the battery from inside to keep it from sliding around. And that was the hardest part. Everything else was easy. And now, brand new battery in my YoloBox Pro. Good to go for another 5 years. So that is what I've got going on. Oh, and I wanted to say, so if you are interested in a YoloBox Ultra or Extreme, I've partnered with YOLO Live. And I'm just being upfront and full disclosure. I have partnered with them to, where is it? It's over here. You can get, man, it should be bigger. I would love to see that bigger. Let me see if I can make that bigger. You can get one, and I've worked out, it's a discount for you, and it's a little spiff for me, so it's an affiliate link, just being upfront. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to edit this one. And this way you can save a little bit of money, paste, and you can help support the show. So if you like these live shows, you like all the videos I put out, and you're interested in getting an Extreme or an Ultra or the S7 or something anyway, then use my link. Help me, pay the bills. Get your YOLO gear here. And of course I made a typo. Let's take that out. And let's save that. and it's going to have the wrong logo. So let's save that. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a better, there it is. Get your YOLO gear here. So if you use this QR code, actually I should put the link in the description. Let's try that. Let's see, can I do that? Yes, I can, save. Will it update? Yes, it will. So you can go to bit.ly 45NZSFU. It's just randomly generated. And you can get your YOLO gear here if you're going to get one anyway. So what you're doing is you're buying it from the YOLO store. And instead of YOLO having to pay Amazon 15%, YOLO is selling it directly. And for me doing the promotion, they give me a piece for going, click this, and they save some money. So everybody wins. You save some money, YOLO saves some money, I make a couple bucks, yay. So I'm just being upfront. If you want to do that, click this link. This one is good till August 15th. So, ooh, look, that was pretty cool. This one's good till the 15th, and I'll put this up a couple times through the show, and it's in the description. So if you just want a link that you can click on, go to the description on YouTube, and it's in there. So thank you to YOLO for helping put this together for this show, and hey, let's sell some YOLOs. Right, go away. Let's get on with the show. As always, I'm a live person. I'm not AI. This is like real. All my foibles and everything. I don't have my Pebble watch. Just whatever. And if you have questions, put them in the comments and say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. This is a dialogue. If you're here at the same time I'm here, and we can have this dialogue. And because I'm not AI, I don't know everything. And if I don't know something, I'm just going to tell you I don't know. I'm not going to be like AI and lie about it and give you false information. I'm just going to tell you when I don't know. We'll work through all the questions. If you want to test something, or you want me to test something, I actually have both the Ultra and the Extreme right here in front of me, hooked up. I got cameras on here. I got videos on here. I have an NDI camera set up. If you were watching pre-show, you saw me like actually pointing the camera with some software. I got a YOLO deck, and I am ready for you to start throwing those questions into the comments, and let's start talking YoloBox, because the real questions are, which is the right one for you? Everybody comes to me, and this whole show was started because somebody wrote to me. They didn't do a consult. They sent me a Facebook message, and they're like, which is the best one? And the answer is always, what do you want to do with it? I mean, yes, if you want to spend the most money and get the most features, you can get the Extreme. It's guaranteed to be the most powerful YoloBox, because that's how it was built. It just is. And the Extreme, it's bigger, it's more powerful, it's got more inputs. Yay! The downside is, if you need portability, like if you actually wanted to put this on top of your camera and you're doing sideline sports, this is an 11-inch monster of a device. And if you're only going to be doing your built-in the camera on the tripod and maybe a second camera or two, you've got 8 inputs and you're going to use 3. 3 isn't even all of the inputs that this one delivers. So you could do 3 plus 4. Actually, I have a video for the Ultra where I did 10 inputs into my Ultra. So there's no shortage of inputs over here. You can do a lot of inputs into both of these. You just, take some thinking and working through. But the question is, what do you want to do with it? So if you need to like pick up and move, like people were talking about funeral services, they are inside doing the service, and then they needed to go outside to the actual burial. Well, they need to carry this thing. Well, batteries in both of these. This one has a slightly brighter screen. I tested it. It didn't seem like much brighter. So I think these are both good. These will both be about the same outdoors, but they both have built-in batteries. This one's lighter. This one's more compact. This one, can sit on top of your camera a little easier than this one will. This one, you're going to need the frame, and then the frame is the cage, and then the cage is going to be attached to your tripod directly, and it's going to add a bit of weight to your kit. But, which one is right for you is the best question. And PVE writes, YouTube's rules and regulations to go live on YouTube as briefly as possible. YouTube rules and regulations, subscriber count, etc. to go live on YouTube. I believe there's a waiting period. Like you can't create a YouTube channel and immediately go live. There are more rules and regulations with regards to monetization. Like you need to have 100 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours in order to monetize. So like when I created this channel I already had a channel, but I wanted to create a channel specifically for streaming tech. So I created StreamTek. And then for the first 2.5 months, people were watching my stuff, people were liking and subscribing and everything, and I made not a penny because I didn't have the 4,000 viewing hours. And the challenge is, how do you have viewing hours when you don't have content? And how do you, and not viewer, it's a chicken and egg thing. You just have to push it, get it out there and get the viewing hours out. Then you could get the monetization. But as a part to subscriber count, and this is for adult channel, not a channel for children, because there's a different different set of rules if your channel is geared specifically for content for children, as in the videos don't have comments and things like that. So as briefly as possible, I believe you have to create it, and then I don't know how many days it is, but there's a bit of a waiting period so that people don't create new channels and stream ad hoc, just off the blue. Oh, I knew some other people came in. Again, I always love to know. Thank you for the question. Where is everyone watching from? People have chimed in already. Okay, Robert chimed in. He's in Warsaw, Poland. So thank you very much from Warsaw, Poland. PVE is in Seal Beach, California. Let's see. And I think that's the last one. So we've got a lot of people watching. So here we go. Data video. Chime in with where you're watching from. Lexington, Massachusetts. Thank you very much. So we're all over right now. Shot by Flash says, in real live streams like Twitch creators. Is that a question? Or is that a statement? I don't quite understand that. I think the Ultra is great for in real life book bag streams. Yes, lighter, smaller, less inputs, because those in real life streams are not going to be hooking up all these wires, because that really does bog you down. That's more of a tabletop setup. This is like, I'm going to plunk it. Ooh, like I said, it's heavy, especially when I got the keyboard on the cables. This thing is meant to be put down on a table and hooked up with the dozens of wires, and that's really what this one's for. For IRL, this is smaller, lighter, faster. It's the bionic man of 4K live streaming. And the reason I decided to just do these two, because I have a Pro, and the Pro is still a viable solution, because it's not that much smaller. But the Pro is HD. So what I'm doing today is I'm comparing the two 4K models. I've done dozens and dozens of videos about the Pro. Pro's a great tool. Get a new battery in there. It's still a viable solution. And Frank has just recently done a video about the updates coming to the Pro. So they are going to be continuing to push out updates for the Pro to give it more features. I would love it if they could iron out the frame rate issue, which is one that bugs me. It doubles frames when it can't keep up. And they removed 50p to try and get 60p and 30p to be as smooth as possible. But I would rather them have 50p available for those in countries that are 50p. But yes, the Ultra is great for that lightweight get up and go. And as you can see, I don't have either of these in cages. There are cages available for both of these, which help protect it and everything. There's all kinds of different solutions. I have a video called Cage Wars. Feel free to look that up. It talks about different cages. I have not tested any cages or stands for the Extreme yet, but the savvy viewer will notice I actually have one of my first solutions for the original Ultra. I have these little phone stands, and these are $17. And with these little stands, I can put them on the back like this, and then I just put them down, and now it's on an angle. The thing I don't like about the Ultra is the power comes out the bottom, and it requires a 45, I think this one's 45 watt, this one's even more, power adapter. So the cable that it comes with is longer and thicker, and it doesn't sit nice. But that's why I've got it sitting like this. I will say that the Ultra, the cooling is designed along the edges. So you can actually lay this flat on a table and it's not a problem. The Extreme is designed, I got a bunch of cables going in it, as I even have a hub going into it. That's for later. Here's the fan. It's on the back, which is the same thing they did with the Mini, which I didn't think was a great solution. But they put feet on it, but the feet are literally 1 millimeter, and then it blows out here. So you got to make sure that this has proper ventilation. These help because these are 3 to 4 millimeters thick, so these give a little bit more airflow. But just like in the Duet video that I did, they've got a fan on the back, but it's so close to the table, and especially if you've got like a felt or something that those feet can sink into, you're going to smother the fan and it's not going to be able to properly ventilate. So with the Duet, I actually added rubber feet to the bottom, and I will probably do the same with this, just because they put the fan on the back. So it actually needs space to be able to pull in cool air to blow it out. So while I say it's a tabletop unit, be aware of that. It's a caveat. So that is one of the other key differences with this. This inherits the cooling system of the Pro, which, you know, has the cooling vents around the side, so you can lay it flat on the table. There's nothing on the back. And if you want to see the inside, again, I recommend the take apart video, the teardown video that I made for changing the battery, and you get to see the cooling path and the way they've sectioned things off on the inside. It's great just to know, you know, how these things are set up. PVE says, thank you for the YouTube clarification. One of my clients is not interested in monetization, so that is great. Yes, if you're not interested in monetization, you should be able to get up pretty quick. Facebook, I think, is also, I think in order to stream, you have to have so many people who have liked your page. And I had that problem with the StreamTek page. And then I launched the page, but I didn't have like 100 people who liked it yet. I was like, really? So I had to have 100 people like the page in order to be able to stream through the page. So if you're watching on Facebook, on the StreamTek page, thank you to the 100 people who liked the page. Yay. Hello, I'm joining late. I know that the Extreme has director mode. Is director mode possible on the Ultra? No, it's not. Great question. And again, this is a live show, so throw those questions in to the comments. I got the comments right in front of me from all the platforms, including J-Films joined, started following you. And Marcus is watching from Germany. I have viewers on Instagram. Yay! Hello to all the viewers on Instagram. The key looks awful on Instagram. I don't know why that is. What are the top differences between the Ultra and the Extreme? How many more NDI inputs on the Extreme? Well, you bring up, Mike, thank you for the question. You bring up one of the key differences. In the Extreme, NDI is included. With the Ultra, NDI is an added expense. So if the physical size is not that critical to how you work, and you do need more NDI, and you don't want to pay extra for it, the Extreme is the way to go. This one is limited to 3 NDI inputs. Now, as far as I know, when you come into NDI, do I even have, my NDI is activated. It doesn't tell me here how many full NDI versus NDI HX this device can handle. Now, we all know the Extreme is more powerful. But interestingly enough, when you bring up the Extreme and you say NDI, it says 2 NDI FX, which is full NDI, or 5 NDI HX. So that's very different. And then you've got a matrix. If I bring in 1 full NDI, how many HX are left? Now, this one, when we say full NDI, there's a big difference. Like the Bird Dog cameras that used to come out before the new White X series, they were all full NDI. If you're going to bring in a source like a screen capture from a laptop over NDI, that's going to be full NDI. If you're going to have a software package like ProPresenter output NDI, it's going to be full NDI. That's why full NDI is important. And that was one of the caveats that we learned when I did the review of the Osee Duet 8. It has 4 NDI inputs on 4 buttons. That's great, but there's 0 full NDI on the Duet 8, which is disappointing. But what that means is, I mean, you can get around it. You can put NDI bridge on a computer that then takes in full NDI and converts it to HX and spits it out. But it's just an added step and an added place where things can go wrong. So that is problematic. How many more NDI inputs? I can't really answer that, because if you do 2 full and you do 3 HX, well, now this is doing more than this is. If you do 1 full and 2 HX, and then it says there's no more processing available, and you do 3 over here, then you got 3 over here, then it's kind of the same, you know? Overall, I think in general, you're going to get more into the extreme just because the processing is built to handle more things. And it says 5 here, but I think on the website, I think I actually saw it say 6 or something like that. So there's a bit of interpretation as to how many the extreme can take in. Great question though. So this is a live show, throw those questions in. Can you demo the automatic video follows audio feature to see how intelligent it actually works? I would love to, but because I'm the only person here in the studio, I actually can't. You need to have 2 different audio sources connected to 2 different cameras or 2 different inputs to show that. Frank, however, if you actually go to the YOLO Live channel, there was a show that I was in with Frank where he demoed it and with me. And it actually worked very well. And all it does is you set it up. So this is audio input 1. This is audio input 2. When you hear audio from here, what do I switch to? When I hear audio from here, what do I switch to? And then if I hear audio from both, what happens? That's a third one. And then you can set like a wide shot. Every now and then switch to this one. When you hear nothing, go to this. So there's a lot of good programming in the videos follow audio feature. It's great for multi-person things. One of the added advantages is that you can have more than 2. When I did the Osee Duet, I hate to keep mentioning it, but it's another thing that has that feature. The Osee Duet has a video follows audio feature, but it's limited to 2 audio inputs. So you have speaker A, speaker B. So like a podcast with 2 people, you can do that on the Duet. You can do more with the Extreme. And it's coming back out over here. If you go to the gear, there is no video follows audio on the Ultra yet. I don't know if it's going to happen on the Ultra. Be cool if it did. But right now, it's audio follows video. So if you have a camera, if you're doing sports and you have somebody on their cell phone coming in as a remote guest, you could be doing your show, and then when you go to the sideline camera, which is a cell phone going over the cellular network coming in as a remote guest, when you go to that one, the audio is only going to be part of the program when you go to it. When you come away from it and back to the game, that audio is automatically off. So audio follows video and video follows audio are 2 very different things, but both are useful when you need them. It should be 6 wireless NDI inputs on the newest Extreme Beta. Okay, I'm not on the newest Extreme Beta. I'm on the last public release. PVE asks, how many virtual cameras via scaling, zooming can be derived from each individual HDMI input? I hope this question makes sense. It does. It absolutely does make sense. That is a really good question. I don't know. So let's find out. So I've got this HDMI camera coming in. And for those who don't know, you can take in a camera and then you can replicate. And then you can replicate, and 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 you can... I don't think it wants... Oh, replicate, and you can... I think I'm starting to like use up some of the processing power at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 replications of my input. And then over... just so I'm not going to kill this thing, I'm only at 42% of the CPU done. So that's actually really cool. In the Extreme, it tells you what's going on with the CPU. So you know how hard what you're demanding. So if you start dropping frames, if you start, wondering, well, what's going on? And you come up here and it's like, oh my God, I'm at 90%. I'm really pushing this machine. What can I close down to make it work a little bit better? Over here, I've got this, let's go with the woman talking. We got replicate, and we got replicate, and we got replicate, and you got replicate, and we got replicate, and we got replicate. So, man, more than I would think I would ever need. Wow. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 6, 2, 7. I got 9 replications over here. So, but the Ultra, you have to bring it down, and it says I'm at 44% CPU. So it does not seem to be really taxing the CPU a whole lot to make these replications of the same source. Now, I have not rejiggered the layout. I have not used them in different picture in pictures. I have not done blue screen on each of these things, or green screen. I have not done multi-views. I have not cropped them and moved them around. So if you do all of those extra processing on each of those inputs, you're going to be asking more. And the processor in here is not as good as the processor over here. Can it handle custom HTML overlays? Let's say a self-made scoreboard application. Both of these do have web input for overlays. Thank you for the question. If you come over here, you add, you have web URL overlays. So you can put in your own URL over here. Let's come over here, add web URL overlays, the exact same layout. As you can see, Play Score, Singular Live, Circ Clubs, H2R Graphics. There's a bunch of, and there's a couple recommended ones here as well. And there's also YoloCast. So if you don't know, there's actually included with your YOLO account that you need to create to use these, to do these things. There's a YoloCast, and it includes a web overlay service. And I actually have that queued up. Here we are. So YOLO Live includes the overlay lab. So this is included free as part of, for now, it used to say beta forever, but it doesn't say beta anymore. This is included free, and it has dozens of included, setups. There's more sports designs in the overlay lab than there are built into both of the YOLO boxes. And the nice thing with the web overlay is somebody else can have an iPad, next to you, and they're handling the scoring. Give it to someone else. Actually, they don't have to be where you are at all, because this is on the web. So they could be watching a stream online and be doing the graphics at home. So your graphics person could be sitting on the couch at home doing your graphics for you. And so, and again, this is included. You don't even have to go to a third-party service, but there are many third-party online web overlay, web graphics services. Some of them are commercial, some are going to cost you money, some significant money, but some of those packages that you can create are really high-end deliverable packages. I will say that using web graphics, there is a delay. There's a delay from having it happen there to having it happen in here. So when I would come over here to, let's just say I want to bring in my scrolling captions. That one? No, let's bring in this one, baseline crawl, done. So I'm going to say done. I'm going to say bring in my baseline crawl. There it is, 2, 3, there it is. So there's a little bit of delay in executing it and then having it appear. It's not as fast as, take that one out. It's not as fast as that one comes in. It comes in when I hit it. This one needs to be built because it's coming from the web. So you have to kind of allow for that. The fact that the web graphics are not really internal. It's a web page that's being constructed and then brought in. So, but you can see how that works right there. And you saw how easy that was to, like, you know, I have it pre-created. It's sitting on my YOLO account, but you can see how easy it is. I just like, well, this is my lower third crawl. I could just bring it in and pop it on. And it's over here too. So I can take that one, done, and done. Bring it in, take that one off, and there it is. So now I've got that same crawl on two different things. So if you're producing, let's just do some spitballing here. If you were doing a show in both English and Spanish, and you had two different people cutting on two different machines, and you had Spanish graphics on the Spanish show and English graphics on the English show, you can bring in sports scoreboards and things like that and bring them into both, which is pretty cool. So just the numbers and everything. So thank you for the question. The demonstration source is a bit too small here. I cannot see clearly as Frank does that. The demonstration source. Yes, thank you, Frank. Thank you very much, Frank. Frank does it better, says Frank. But since Frank is here, I'm going to say thank you to Frank again, and I'm going to put this up here. So if you are watching the show and you are interested in purchasing an Extreme or an Ultra or one of these devices, you can use this link that Frank helped me put together, which gives you a discount, which can also benefit the channel. So feel free to scan the QR code, or you just type in bit.ly 45NZSFU. Yeah, I didn't customize it, but there it is right there. And hey, this is available till August 15th. And if this is successful, we'll continue to do a few more of these and put these up. So, and if you miss this code, it's also available in the description as well. So that is, thank you to Frank, since you're here. Thank you to Frank for helping to put that together. Let's continue with the questions. Create a picture-in-picture with a crop source for YoloBox to make it look bigger. I hope I made myself clear. You did. Max says, I love my Ultra. The Extreme is just overkill in so many ways. 4K is not required for 99% of things. I used my Ultra at 90% processor, every port filled, and it did fine. Wow, that is, a really good testimonial for the fact that, you can push these things and get things done. Even, so if you don't need 4K, like this, he says the 4K is not required. So these devices are built for 4K. But if you're not doing 4K, what you're demanding of the device is lower, so you're able to do more inputs, more graphics, more video playbacks, more pictures in pictures, just more ISO records. If you're doing HD, you can do more ISO records than if you're doing 4K. So that is one of the great things about going to the 4K models like the Extreme and the Ultra, is that you're buying a sports car, you're buying a monster truck to do smaller things, but that means it's going to do the small things so easy. You're not going to be pushing it hard. I will say, like when I had the Pro and I would fill things up, I actually was able to like throw enough graphics over top and start dropping the frame rate down. When you push anything hard, if I push my desktop PC hard with vMix, it's going to let me know I'm now not getting a full 60 frames per second because it can't keep up with what I'm asking it to do. Well, you just got to get a more powerful computer. Okay, well, you just got to get a more powerful YoloBox. It's the same thing whether it's a computer or a tablet. Each one is it has a certain amount of processing power. So depending upon your needs is the level of machine that you can get. But if you're using a Pro and you need more horsepower, going to a 4K machine, even though you're not going to use it in 4K, going to a 4K machine gives you the added horsepower that lets you do more. And you can use this QR code. Blatant sponsorship. I get an affiliate spiff if you purchase through this link. That's why I'm throwing it up. Other than that, There's no connection. I'm not on the payroll or anything like that. But if you purchase one, you save a few bucks, I make a couple bucks, and you can do that here. So that's why I'm putting this up as part of this show. So again, thank you to Frank for helping to put that together. You get to save a few bucks off of regular retail by using this link. And again, that link is in the description. So if if you see me but weren't able to I didn't get the chance to type it down, just go in the description on the YouTube video and you will be able to click on that link. Once you have live stream in 4K, you'll never go back, especially when you use it as a home creator. I have not live streamed in 4K, and here's the other caveat. Like Frank was saying to me, make a crop of that image. So I've got the two YoloBoxes here. I got the two YoloBoxes. He's saying make a crop of this one and make it bigger. Make a crop of this one and make it bigger, because I just have the one overhead camera, but that way I can have these two things. If I'm inputting in 4K and then I do a crop, then my crop of that 4K is not 4K anymore. I'm now stretching those pixels out. By working in HD, I can take in 4K and still deliver full HD. But if I'm delivering 4K and I do that crop, now you're watching stretched pixels. So that's one of the caveats of delivering in 4K when your ingest is 4K. Now, if my ingest was 5.6K or, that whatever the next thing is, 8K, and I'm delivering in 4K, then I would be able to do that again. Take in an 8K source, crop it, zoom it out, fill the frame, and I still have 4K pixels to deliver to the viewer. But if I'm capturing 4K and I'm delivering 4K, I can't do that crop and deliver clear images because I'm stretching the existing image out. YouTube encoding algorithm is very much in favor of 4K to boost 4K video quality is significant. Yes, and the same was the same was said when everybody was uploading in standard def, and then we went to HD. If you uploaded in HD, but your source was still standard definition, it looked better because they're just allocating more bits to the 4K streams. Thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate you being here. You have a good night. Matt Ruff says, there's a bug in the USB-C touchscreen is fixed in 2.9.6, which is still in beta. Yes. That's the other key thing, is that both of these devices are still actively developed. Plus, features that are in the Extreme are trickling down to the Ultra. And features from the Extreme and the Ultra, Frank said in his last show, are going to be trickling down to the Pro. So all of these are being actively developed. So when you invest in these devices, you're investing in support and upgrades and features for the next several years, even. That way, the Pro has been out for like 4 or 5 years now, and this update to the Pro, plus whatever bug fixes need to come out, may be the last big feature update that comes to the Pro, because we're kind of at the limit of what the processor can do on this device, barring any optimizations and things like that. So there's bug fixes, there's tweaks and things like that, but in terms of features, the Pro is pretty much what it's far more than it was when it first came out. Remote guests, all different kinds of things were added to this that were never part of the original Pro when it came out. It has been developed far beyond. It's sort of like buying a car. You bought an Accord, and then next thing you know, YOLO Live turned it into a Lexus. That's what it was like. And the same can probably be said for these. These have come out. They're very powerful with newer chips in them, newer capabilities, and they're going to have continued development over the next several years. I mean, I personally hope, that Frank's gone already, so I can't tell him, but I would love to see another version of the Pro and even the Mini, because the Mini is a great little device. Let me hold it here. The Mini is a great little device. And if you're doing something super simple and you just need 2 inputs, or one and a webcam, or just one and a remote guest and something, you know, something very simple, this thing literally, okay, it doesn't fit in that pocket, but it fits in my pants pocket. And I'd love to see the Mini be upgraded with a new Snapdragon chip. And while it's not going to do 4K, or maybe they do put 4K in it, you know, it's limited in size and weight and battery. But hey, I just want to do one 4K input and titles to the web. Boom. I don't need to spend $2,000 on the Extreme. But hey, if you can do it, if you can do a 4K live stream with a new chip inside of the Mini for like $599, $699, I think a lot of people would say, I love my Mini, I love the form factor, I love the size, I love how small, and it just does what I need. I just wish it was more powerful. Upgrading that, you know, just like Apple with the iPhones and Samsung with the iPhones. Same kind of size, form factor, the same 3 cameras on the back. They just upgrade the processor, upgrade the processor, upgrade the processor, upgrade the processor, and add a little bit more RAM. So, you know, I would love to see YOLO revitalize the Mini and the Pro with new processors capable of doing 4K, even with the limited inputs. I don't think that's going to cannibalize sales to the bigger units, because these are for people who need 8 physical inputs. And those people do exist. Those people were, you know, clamoring, you know, when we had the Pro with its 3, and it's like, God, I wish, you know, they were using external mixers, and now you can do it all in here and just get rid of that whole second piece of equipment. It's all here. That made these things very, very desirable to power users. But not everybody's a power user. There are people out there that this would be fine. You know, they're doing a funeral service or a wedding or whatever, and I've got my main camera, I've got my microphones, I've got a wide camera plugged into the USB, maybe it's just a webcam, and I got the bonding in here, I've got the recording in here, and I've got my audio mixer going in here, and I'm good to go. I don't need, and this is super light, and easy to put on top of a camera and move around with you. So that's why those things still have a place. Not everybody needs, you know, a 5-pound, 11-inch, it's 11 inch for the screen, so it's like 12 inches for the whole thing, monster of a tablet. Not everybody needs that. And that's why there's different tools for different people. +1 for a Mini 4K. Thank you, Joel. Frank, when you come back and watch this again, look at Joel. Joel wants one. Matt Ruff says, I would love a refresh of the Pro with a newer processor. I need one for travel. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the Pro versus, I don't know if I want to put it down on a touch screen. We'll do it anyway. The Pro versus the Ultra, they're not that big in size, but the weight difference is immense. It's got a bigger battery. It's got a more powerful, brighter screen. It's got all of the hardware inputs up here. This is a plastic case. This is a metal case. You know, it's helping to dissipate the heat. The amount of glass on the front is, you know, much bigger. So the weight and the size is substantial. And the Pro is a nice balance between the Mini, 1 to 2 inputs, 3 or so inputs, and then you've got the Extreme. And the Ultra kind of fits in there too, with 4 physical hardware. And I think 4, you know, maybe the Ultra is the replacement for the Pro. You got 3 plus USB. The Ultra gives you 4 plus 2 USB. You know, that's kind of cool, although I don't like the placement of the power cable. Just me. This thing is kind of like a Pro Plus. You know, it's not that much different. And it gives you the 4K, it gives you the capability, it gives you the ISO recording. So maybe the Pro falls away and the Ultra remains, and the Mini gets a refresh. The Mini V2. That's just me. Canaan? Kanan St. Rose. Nice name. I use my YoloBox Mini with my OSG. I use the Mini to stream and reply to my comments. The OSG gives me much more camera inputs. Yeah. And that is the other thing is, you know, maybe you've got a live switch on an 8 input switcher, like I've got an ATEM, you know, Extreme here with 8 physical inputs. Do all your like big button pushing over there, and this is handling just the streaming and recording, although you can record in the ISO. This is a nice streaming thing, and it's separate from the, you know, your big video switcher, which also means that, well, if I'm not asking it to do ISO recording and streaming, it's not going to overheat as much, which has been a problem, which, you know, to the point where I have an external fan blowing into my Extreme 8 ISO because, and I have a reel on that on the channel, because it does get hot. And when I'm doing shows where I want to do all 8 channel records, it gets even hotter. So having that extra cooling on that device pays off. And if you don't want to add recording and streaming heat to that device, you can offset that and separate the tasks. Also, if you've got people, separating the tasks means I can give this to someone over here, and I have someone handling the stream and the comments, and someone else is handling the live switch. You're dividing the tasks because it's not all in one device. Whereas if you have the stream inside of your 8 input switcher, nobody's able to handle comments and things like that. So separating the task gives you additional flexibility. So that's another great reason to have something like that. Even if it's not a 8 input switcher like the Extreme, you're still separating the recording and streaming, and that gives you a lot of flexibility. PV says, I'm happy to report that my 1920 by 1200 16-inch portable HDMI touchscreen monitor does act as a much larger touchscreen for my YoloBox Ultra. Being all phones very handy. Yes, a 16-inch screen also makes those thumbnails appear much bigger, which is handy because on both of these devices, let's go side by side. On both of these devices, you can change the size of your previews. Like you can make the previews very small and get more going up here. And then I believe it's then your gear. I was pretty sure you could do that here. Somebody's going to say, just do this. I could be like, yeah, yes, I don't use the Ultra enough. I've actually used this more because I like the additional space for comments over here. So I find myself gravitating more towards the big one. So I find myself having less hands-on with the Ultra. I kind of went from the Pro, didn't use the Ultra that much, and then kind of went to the Extreme when that came out, because there was just 1 year between the Ultra was out by itself and then this came out. Tools order? No. Nope, it's not there. I don't see it. So you can change, I'm pretty sure, because you can change the size on the Pro. YoloDeck, yes. Oh, the other cool thing is the YoloDeck works with both of these. So you're able to hand that capability off to someone else. And just for giggles, I'm actually running an external USB coming out of the USB-C, and my YoloDeck is plugged into the USB adapter. So I'm still able to, I think I'm still able to. Let me put it back. Oh, it's the same input. Okay, I have to move other inputs. You can't tell things are changing because all the inputs are the same. I was like, why does it look like I'm not switching? Well, there we go. All right. There we go. It's doing a whole lot of refreshing. I don't want to delete that one. No, it's being, there it goes. No, it's being slow on through the USB hub. Web overlay, there it goes. So, and if I take this out and go in directly, Take that off. Nope, I'm getting the same delay. Hey Frank, fix this. Countdown? 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 Nope. Nope, so it's not the hub. Something going on. This is on the latest update, which is the 269, I believe it is. And if I bring this over here, I have to say the way that YOLO created the interface for the YOLO deck that is used by all the different YoloBoxes, in that it's just positions. You don't have to go through and manually assign all the different things. Means that, oh, again, I've got all the same inputs. Oh no, I got one. Is my YOLO deck not happy? Because I'm getting the same delay. Oh, maybe it's just a connection I had. There we go, now it's working. Maybe my USB cable was a little loose. So there we go. Whatever your first 5 are, whatever your first 5 titles are, so overlay, 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 overlay. So whatever your first 5 are, and these are timed, so they're actually going to go off on their own. The web, there it goes, it's off. And that means that you're able to use this so easily. It's like, oh, I want to use it over here. I can unplug it and replug it and make sure it's plugged in properly. And switch, there we go. Yep, that was me, on me. And you're able to switch between and put your graphics up and do different things. So whatever you've got set in here for your configuration stays with the show. Whatever you got set here stays with the show, and you can move the deck between the two different things and it just populates. So that, I have to say, is a very, very nice integration in the YOLO deck, and the fact that it just works with both of these things, super cool. Matt Ruff says it has to be plugged in before you start. Well, it's working now. As long as you have the apparently this plugged in properly and in enough, then it seems to work fine. I like to work mobile, so wirelessly, mostly outdoors. Which YoloBox would you recommend? How many devices can you bring with the YOLO Cast? So we need to break this question down a little bit. Wirelessly, mostly outdoors. Well, your wirelessly, the Extreme has external antennas, which I put right here because I knew they were going to come up, has external antennas. So you can actually use the jacks on the side and the external antennas and get much better range if you're going to use this as your Wi-Fi hotspot. So you could use the cellular connection, you could use an Ethernet connection to another hotspot, you could use Wi-Fi to your cell phone, bond those all together and be able to like share that. Or if you have great cell reception, just use the built-in cell that's in here and share it via the Wi-Fi out and be able to hook up multiple, let's just say, NDI cameras. There's not another way to bring in other local wireless cameras. So you like to work wirelessly, mostly outdoors. Now, if you're using like a wireless video transmitter, like Hollyland or Teradek or, you know, any number of, there's dozens of them out there. If you're using those and your wireless camera setup is completely separate and you're not relying on these devices, then the additional wireless capability of the Extreme is not as important. So that's a key thing. You know, you like to work wirelessly. Well, there's lots of different ways to work wirelessly outdoors. Which YoloBox would you recommend and how many devices can you bring in with the YOLO Cast? I don't understand what you mean bring in with the YOLO Cast. YOLO Cast is YOLO Live's content delivery service. So you sign up with a YOLO Cast subscription so that you can send your stream to 15 different destinations. That's what YOLO Cast does. So you don't bring in devices wirelessly with YoloCast. That doesn't quite, that question doesn't quite make sense based on what YoloCast does. So maybe if you could tell me a little bit more about what you're going on, or again, there's consulting available on the, no, not that one. I offer consulting on the the StreamTek.us website. You can go up to the contact us and we can work through exactly what your process is, what your connections are, what type of environments you're working in, and what you're looking to achieve with a possible purchase of a YoloBox. And if you're tuning in late, oh great, we've got sirens going on here because it's the first Wednesday of the month, I believe, and they are going to test the tornado sirens here in Texas. So if you hear that siren going off, that's what that is. It's not indicating that I have to stop the stream or anything like that. But once again, let me reiterate that Frank has helped me set up, if you're interested in getting one, for till August 15th, we've set up a little discount code. You can use this code, you can scan the QR code, or you can type in bit.ly 45NZSFU, or click the link in the YouTube description, which is the same thing. And that will take you to the YOLO Live store where you can order these things, and that should apply a code so that you get a discount and I make an affiliate spiff. And just being upfront, that's, I'm promoting it because, hey, I could, you can help support the channel and support me for making these shows by making a purchase through this link. But then it also saves you a few bucks. So that's why I'm putting that there. Your AirMix Solo app is very cool. Keep updating. One, it's not my AirMix. It's from a company called Teradek. Secondly, it was orphaned 5 years ago, so there is no updating. Third, yes, it is very cool. So if you haven't checked it out, I have a video on this channel, on the YouTube, talking about Studio on a Stick. And you can walk around with 2 phones and have a multi-camera live switch with 2 phones using AirMix. Let's see if I've got that up here. Not there. Did I do it in one of the live shows? I think I did it in the tiny studio. The tiny studio right over there. Back a couple weeks, we made the studio super tiny just by using cell phones. And, with multiple sources, video playback, graphics over top, audio control, you do all that on your phone. And then you can use another phone as your second camera. And it's all super cool with the free apps. All right. I heard about YoloBox just yesterday, and then I came across this live stream. Is it true the YoloBox uses more than one SIM card for internet bonding? No, kinda. It doesn't use more because internal on, let me think for a second, every YoloBox ever made, all the way back to the original, there is a single internal SIM card slot. So SIM card internal 1. It doesn't stop you from adding a second one via a USB stick or a third one. So if I had the Mini, which has right there a SIM card slot, so I'm using the internal cellular of my device. There's nothing else I need to connect. I can play back a video and stream it and do titles with nothing attached. But if I wanted to add a second cellular signal, I could take this, and of course it goes in the wrong way. I could take this, plug this in. Now I've got 2 cellular connections. The YOLO boxes will automatically figure out this is a data source and make it available and turn it on and power it and everything. And then you could bond. Bonding costs extra. You can bond these 2 things. And then if you had a cell phone, I'm not saying you do, but if you happened to have a cell phone and you could share the hotspot connection from your cell phone, share your data, then you could use the Wi-Fi in here as your third, or technically you don't even need this, just use this and the internal. So I could have AT&T on my cell phone and T-Mobile on my built-in and bond across 2 different cellular networks. And what that means is if I'm at a location and T-Mobile not so good, this still works. If I'm at a location and AT&T not so good, this one still works. That's what bonding gives you, is the ability to lean on whichever one works better. I hope that helps. And if you are interested in YOLO boxes, I mean, you kind of asked for it. Use my code. Get your YOLO gear here. Frank and I specifically were talking about the 4K models, but I think the discount may not apply to the Pro or the Mini, but you can still get them from the YoloBox store. So you can get your YOLO gear with this code. You can scan the QR code or type it in. And if you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. So discount for you, little spiff for me. That's what affiliate codes mean. Thank you very much for responding to your question. Happy to help, and I'm happy for the questions. Can you demonstrate the director mode, please? Absolutely. And the director mode was an ask from longtime video people like me that really does speak to being able to preview what you've got going on or what you're going to bring out before it goes to program. So this is, in the way the YoloBox, all the YoloBoxes work, except the Mini. The Mini interface is a little different. Mini interface looks like, no, not like that. Let me close that. The Mini interface, come on, looks like this. So the Mini interface, because the screen is so small, it gives you full screen, and then if you want to switch overlays, you're on the overlay section. There's my overlays. If I want to switch inputs, here's my inputs. It brings these things in over top of your main program. That's what the Mini looks like. Other than that, let me close this. All of the YOLO boxes, the Pro, the Original, the Ultra, the Extreme, all have this 3-area setup. So sources, stuff, could be overlays, it could be audio, could be comments, it could be streaming destinations and things like that, and your settings. The side pane can be switched between all these things. So let's go back to overlays. Stuff, and then program. So if you wanted to bring something into preview before going to program, which is a more traditional way of doing things, what they did in the Ultra, or the Extreme, sorry, the Extreme, because it has such a big screen, we're going to go up here to this classic mode, and then there's director mode. So you go into here, and it moves program over to the right. Basically, for those languages that read left to right, that's what this is. If you read right to left, that doesn't make as much sense, but that's how this works. So this is program, and it says program at the top. This is preview. This is not what's up. So now your touch brings up something into preview, not program. So you can say, oh, you know what I want to do? I want to do this graphic, and I want to, I believe the graphic's still overlay. Yeah, the graphics still go directly to program. But this brings up preview, and then you tap, let me just go to another camera. You tap this and it swaps them. This is really handy if you're doing a talk show or a podcast and you're not using auto switching. Because then when I want to go back and forth, he's talking, now I'm talking, now he's talking, now I'm talking. I don't have to keep finding the other shot. It flips them back and forth. And when you have a conversation and dialogue between people, somebody's going to ask a question, he's going to answer, he's going to laugh, you're going to come back to him, and then he's going to ask another question and go back to him. He's thinking, well, he continues the question, then you get to start the answer, and then he corrects the question, and you're going back and forth a lot, and it makes this a whole lot easier to just tap this center thing back and forth. Now you can mix it up by going to a wide shot, a two shot, and things like that, and you don't need director mode as much when you've got this, because you can easily just go, hey, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. It's super easy just to do those two things with the YOLO deck. But for people who like to see the preview and then the program, that's what the director mode does. Is it useful? To me, it's not as useful as it would be as if I could expand my inputs to fill this whole side. But I can't. So that's what this does. The other thing that it doesn't do is, and I wish I had a switcher really handy to show you, but I don't because they're all boxed up. In most switchers, there's a cut and an auto. So if you want to cut between things and then, okay, I'm going to bring up my video. Here's my video. Unfortunately, it auto plays as soon as I get into it shouldn't do that. It should play only when it gets the program, not into preview. So here's my video, it's queued up, and then I want to go into here and it should auto play. There you go. Come back over here, it should pause. It's not doing that. So some wonkiness with the director mode. One of the key things is if I wanted it to fade, I have to come in here and change this to fade and then turn that off. Now this same button does fade. So I want to fade to a video, fade back out of the video, but now I want to cut between cameras. So now I have to go into my preference setting, go back into cut and turn the preference setting off. And now I can cut to my other camera, cut, cut, cut. That I keep telling them, I keep saying, you don't have to say preview to program on the button. You could just say cut and auto. So many hardware mixers have this by default. That's just the way it's been done for decades. This is like reinventing the wheel. Two separate buttons, cut and auto, and then in auto you change what auto can do, but you're going to be doing cuts 90+% of the time. Director mode is useful with PTZ cameras. Yes, kind of. You do have a multi-view out from here. You can use this as a multi-view out from either of these things. If you're streaming, you can use the HDMI out as multi-view on these. So you can see those cameras large up on the screen. You can, you can see the camera in the preview. This does make it bigger. So if you do have to send camera 2 to preset 2, preset 1, okay, now I got it. It helps you make sure that the camera is where you want it to be before bringing it into program. Yes. But at the same time, you do have your preview over here, so you can make these, heck, you can make these pretty large too over here. And you can take this whole screen and duplicate it up as well if you wanted to, not just the multi-view. Do I have the multi-view out? Let me see. No, that's program. So I'm just switching program. Cut, cut. So let me go in here and I can switch this to the multi-view so you can see with the multi-view. First, let me turn director mode off because I'm not finding it that useful. And let me go to my HDMI out is program out, program out. Let me do multi-view out. Done. And I have a video on the Extreme. I just completed a big video on the Extreme, so feel free to look that up, and I walk through all these different settings. I'm going to close that, and now if I come over here, nope, that was not the right input. Let's come over here, do this one as multi-view out. Okay, there it is. So now you can see all of these different things, and there's different layouts for that as well. So if you come into the setting for the multi-view, you see this little gear. I can come in here and say, I can have just 4 things for the multi-view. So if you have a couple PTZs, you can set those up on your multi-view and just have them there. So you don't need the director mode on here, but the person who's operating the PTZs can have the multi-view with just those cameras in front of them. And you can assign what you want on these. Or you could do this, or this, or this, preview program. You could do this, just all your inputs. So there's definite customizability with regards to the multi-view output of the Xtreme that you can use there. I hope that helps. So when it comes down to which of these devices is better, the Xtreme or the Ultra, the answer is easy. The Xtreme is more extreme. The Xtreme is a bigger, better YoloBox. It's the biggest YoloBox that's currently made. Somebody not gonna know. It's the biggest YoloBox that's currently made. It's the most powerful YoloBox that's currently made. And if you need that capability, and especially you want 8 physical inputs, your choice is easy. If you need more NDI, your choice is easy. If you are okay with a tabletop model that is, when you plug it in and start wiring it all together, it's just going to sit there at a church or a conference or something like that, this is a great machine. If you need something that still gives you 4K, but is a little bit more portable, lighter, the Ultra is that one. It gives you the 4K, it gives you the capabilities. It's not going to do the director mode, thing, but you can use this. You can set up what this. You can set up what the single HDMI out does, and it does NDI in and out, just one out, and it has the so many features in parity. Even the audio mixer on both of these devices is the same class of audio mixer. It's very different from the audio mixer in the Mini and the Pro. It has mix minus, it has audio follows video, it has a lot of capabilities. It's basically the same mixer in both of these units. You're not going to lose out if you go with the Ultra in the audio mixing capability. Your remote guests are the same, your commenting is the same, your bonding is the same, your streaming destinations has been the same since the very first YoloBox. 3 destinations are included for free. It does multicasting, so you're only sending one stream from the YoloBox all the way back to the Mini. One stream out can go to 3 destinations, split in the cloud for free. It's included in every YoloBox. That's all the same. But when you get down to the differences, if you don't need 8 physical inputs, if you don't need the maximum number of NDI inputs, if you don't need 2 physical HDMI outputs, I just did a show at a location and I brought this not because I needed all the inputs, but because I wanted to leverage the 2 HDMI outputs, program for the guest and multi-view for a second director. Because I was hosting, I brought in someone else to co-switch. So he was switching, and if I looked down at the Xtreme and I saw, oh, I want to cut to like the close-up here, I could cut to it, or he could cut to it, or I could just have a conversation. And if I got lost in the conversation, then he could continue to switch. So that flexibility for him to be able to see the multi-view and to switch with his own control surface off to the side, could have done that with the touchscreen too. That is something with the 2 HDMI outputs of the Xtreme, not available with the 1 HDMI output over here. Now, technically, if I didn't need to give program to the guests, it was kind of helpful when we were demoing gear, but if I didn't need to do that, then I could have set this to multi-view and still done this with the Ultra. Not a big thing, but it was a deciding factor for me for that event. And having a device that had those 2 outputs gave me the added flexibility. And this smaller, lighter plastic case, and as I mentioned early on, the cooling is along the edges, so it's happy to sit on a table. This one, the way it is, they give you 4 little rubber feet, but the fan is on the back. right here, just like it was on the Mini. So if you lay this thing down flat, it suffocates. You need to put, I feel the feet should be much bigger on here. And I added these little tilt up cell phone things so that I can put it down on the table and it immediately has a nice angle and plenty of ventilation behind, because this metal case is also helping to radiate the heat. So if you need portability, if you were doing something on top of a camera, like I needed a monitor streamer on top of my camera, but I need it in 4K, that's going to be the Ultra. This thing is a beast. The Ultra is smaller, lighter, still gives me the battery power, and it's going to take that input, do 4K, out to the web, do the bonding, and I could use this if I wanted to as well. I can't do that with the Mini because the Mini is not available in 4K. Maybe a future version might, because that could take my single input, 4K, titles, graphics, pre-show, comments, everything, whoop, to the web in the Mini. All they got to do is upgrade the processor and I guess the HDMI hardware. He says it's useful with PTZ. Yes, it is useful with PTZ cameras, but it's not essential. I don't think the way the YoloBox is designed with the ability to change the size of your previews. Boop, 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 make that a little smaller. If you have any other questions on the YoloBox Extreme versus the YoloBox Ultra, do throw them in the comments. They're very comparable. Again, Extreme is size, capability, NDI capability, ISO record capability is greater in the Extreme because it just has more processing power. The Ultra, if you don't need to ISO record everything, or you're using an external switcher that can ISO record, then that's a non-issue. And again, smaller, lighter, cheaper. You know, it saves you money, but you do have to activate NDI on this, so that kind of brings up the price a little bit. YoloDeck works the same on both of these. Very comparable devices with some nuances to how you need to work between these two devices. And again, one last time, if you are interested in purchasing either of these devices, I've worked out a deal with YoloLive for their store. You could use this QR code. It's an affiliate link, being upfront and completely open about it. It's an affiliate link, gets you a discount and helps support the channel. So you can use the QR code till August 15th. They said this one is available. You can type in the code, and if you're watching this a little bit later, you can just go down into the description of the YouTube channel, click on a link, and that's the bit.ly is the link that's there. If you don't want to get it from the YOLO store, further down I've got links to Amazon if that's your cup of tea. No skin off my back. It doesn't cost you anything extra one way or the other. Actually, I think Amazon will cost you $19.99, but buying it through the YOLO store, you get a discount this way, so it costs you a little bit less this way. But completely up to you, or buy it from B&H or wherever you want. I'm just here to provide, unbiased thoughts and answers. Once again, if you are watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, or Instagram, feel free to go to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Another really cool thing you could do, if you're so inclined, find a video that you like and share it on your social media, because not everybody, still trying to grow the channel. And lots of people don't know about StreamTek. So if you take a video and you share it on your social media, something that you found useful, like today's show, you can share this right now. You can grab the URL and share it on your LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. And that would do me a solid by introducing my content to people who may never have heard of me. Or if you're in other live streaming groups, hey, check this out. This was really cool. That would be great, because, always trying to grow the channel, get more people viewing and things like that. I also write for Streaming Media Magazine. So if you are so inclined, and you can sign up for free e-newsletters. It actually is a physical magazine. I know, it's just crazy to think of it. It's a physical magazine, like paper, and they mail it for free. And I did this one, all-in-one production tablet live streaming devices by me. So if you are interested in not just the YoloBox, but the YoloLive, the Magewell, the ObsBot Talent, the Epiphan Video, the SignTreek, the RGB Link, the Spro Link. There's a great article in Streaming Media Magazine, and you can find that at streamingmedia.com and sign up for e-newsletters so that when new articles come out, you're made aware of them. If you need consulting, if you want somebody to like sit down and talk with you at length about your setup, what you need, what you're looking to do, what product would be the best for you for what you're trying to do, you can. I do consulting through StreamTek.us. Right, there's a contact us page, and then the rest of those things. And hey, I'll give another shout out to my sister. She's got 17secondsstudio.org, I think it is, and she makes art in Alaska. So this is some of her artwork. She does this on wood, multi-paned, round. So if any of these strike your fancy, you can go over to 17 Seconds Studio and check those out. And you can actually order these like online. So that will be it for me today. I appreciate you all being here. It's been an hour-and-a-half show. And as always, my name is Anthony Barocas. I am the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTek. And till next time, I will look forward to speaking with you again. Thanks for watching.